Hi everybody, this is Leslie with Now I Get It Tutoring Services, and I am going to share with you a way to help you remember vocabulary words in a way that is fun and that I think will actually help you remember it in an authentic way um, for life. So instead of just, shoveling the word into your memory, to your short-term memory until, your test that's happening later on today or later on at the end of the week, and then promptly dropping the word and its meaning out of your life and your brain forever after that time. So we want to, really focus on lifelong learning here, and I think this is a way to help you do that in your vocabulary. So we're going to go ahead and get started. These are the two words we're going to use, nascent and flummoxed. And I very randomly picked these words. I've done this operation or this strategy or whatever with hundreds of words, and so you make a way for every single word. So if you ever have like a teaser or a word that you're not sure how to do this with, you can contact me at Leslie at now I get it tutoring.com, or you can contact me at Leslie at lqwritingtutor.com. I have many email addresses because I'm just an important human being, so it's like that sometimes for me. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get going. I'll put that information in the box, underneath the video or whatever. So the first step we're going to follow is to determine the meaning of the word. And this is like, the formal meaning. So this is like the teacher may provide the meaning for you, the dictionary may provide the meaning for you. Okay? So formally, the word nascent means beginning to exist or develop. That is the formal meaning. Okay? So I'm going to put this down here because we're going to get to it in a minute. The next step is to come up with your own way, with your own definition. Or I'm going to say come up with a definition in your own words. Okay? So let's see. If I were to put this in my own words, I'm just going to put this as a step here. I'd say if something is beginning to exist or develop, and look up when you're doing this part here, the formal, look it up and see where they have it used in a sentence, have your teacher use it in a sentence, or look in the dictionary where it's actually used in a sentence. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you could say the girl's understanding of the world was nascent, it was still developing. Okay, so it makes sense in your own terms, in your own, mind. Now let's come up with your own wording for it. So I'm going to say if something is nascent, something just beginning. So I'm going to say something that's just starting out, right? That's what I would say. That's like, and you want your wording here to be as simple as possible. A second or third grader should understand what this means, okay? In your own words. All right, the next step is to find smaller words within, and actually I'm going to get confusing if I say this. I'm going to say find words within the vocab word. Okay, and you want to go from biggest to smallest when you look. Okay, so if I do this, words that I see, well, I see the word, give myself some room. I see the word scent. I see the word within that, scent, like a red scent. Oh, and why don't we just use scent? Because we can actually be phonetic about what we see. So since these all sound the same, so we can write them all. As long as they phonetically make sense, sound the same, then that's fine. Now, I happen to know the word Nas because Nas is a hip hop rap artist. You may or may not know him. Google him. He's, yeah, he's up there. So, um, if you didn't know who he was, then you just wouldn't use that term, and that's fine. I am gonna make a stretch, and I'm gonna say the word nah, like that. You can do stuff like that here, and I'm even gonna make a bigger stretch, and I see ant here. I'm gonna say ant because that phonetically is kind of in there. All right, so that's where we're going. Next up, we are going to make a sentence. And this is a multi-step kind of step, but you kind of have to do it all at the same time. Okay, in which the vocab word is featured as well as some of the smaller words. But you've got to use, and use the meaning of the vocab word. Now, I'm going to explain what this means because there's a lot happening right there. But first, let's make the sentence. Let's think about making the sentence and featuring the words, and then we'll look at the meaning, okay? So I always try to start with a noun. If I can find a noun within the sentence instead of making up my own noun, that makes the most sense. And if you have a person to whom, that you can link onto, that's great. So in this case, I'd use Nas. If I didn't know who Nas was, I'd use ant in some way. So let's say Nas, and remember we have to use the word nascent in some way, right? So Nas is what? We could say his one red cent, right? Or we could say Nas sent something, right? But I try to use the biggest words because when you use bigger chunks, it helps, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm gonna say, oh my God, I can't believe I missed ascent. It's the biggest word in there. Ascent. There we go. So how about this? Instead of saying Nas's scent, let's say Nas's, well, let's do this. Nas's scent. And we have to use the word nascent. It's beginning, so it's beginning to develop. And I'm thinking kind of odor, instead of his scent. But we're going to say Nas's scent was still nascent when what happened? You can say until the ant. I'm going to say until he, I would say he's ascended, but I'm saying until he began his ascent up the mountain. And I just made up the mountain part. But I used scent, and I'm going to take this off now. But I used 1, 2, 3 of the little words, and we used the vocab word. And you notice how we did use the meaning of the word within the sentence, right? That's the center of what the sentence is about. Nas's ascent was still nascent until he began his ascent. But wait, until he began. Now it was nascent, it was just beginning to develop. And then I'm going to say, the more he climbed, now I'm writing more than one sentence, which you can do if you have to, the more he smelled. And his nascent body odor became terrible. Ooh. So, yeah. So I just wanted to add more detail to make sure that I'm really, really, make sure I know how to use the word in a sentence. The next thing you want to do is you want to tell a story. So now we want to know why. Why is Nas a rap artist, a wealthy rap artist? Why is he going up a mountain without deodorant? Why doesn't he have deodorant? What's going on? So you want to make up a story about why that's happening. And I have 8th, 9th, and 10th, and 11th, and 12th graders look at me like, I don't know. I mean, that's a silly story. That doesn't make any sense. Well, the thing is that the more ridiculous and the sillier it is, the more that they remember it. So I'll say it's because, I don't know, he well, I can't just say he left it at home, but right now that's all I can come up with. He forgot it at home. He left it in his cab when he decided to climb the mountain. So, but who knew that Nas had body odor? Now we know, right? And so the more you have a little bit of discussion and you tell a story around it, and then people can go back and forth in terms of, offering their opinions on, or telling their version of the story, then the funnier it becomes and the more memorable it becomes. I get students who roll their eyes at me about this, and I'm like, just do it. And then, months later, years later, they remember what the word means. So, yeah. So I just make them do it anyway. Um, and then the next step is to draw a picture. And this step is somewhat optional, but I think even if you just do a quick sketch of something, I'm the least, artistic person drawing wise, I think that you could ever meet. But, um, but yeah, like if it doesn't matter how the quality of the sketch, the point is that you're drawing it while you're talking about it and you're telling the story, then it's just another way of, your brain having to deal with this information and thus remember it. So remember this: whoever does the most work, there's actually a cartoon a cartoon SAT book. I got the grain of the idea for this kind of exercise from that, but the thing is that those are done for you, so you can pick up some of it. But if you make it up yourself, then it's going to have like 80 to 90% more meaning. And that's a very, very, scientific. I'm just kidding. It's not very scientific, statistical, 80 to 90%. That's just what I think. And but that is what I've seen with my students. They do remember these, years later, they remember what their words mean based on having done this work. So I'll do it with them. I'll try to prompt them, but whoever makes it up most of the information, whoever does more of this, it's the word is going to belong more to that person. So I try to, I'll help a little bit here and there, but I really want the student to be involved. If nothing else, if the student really can't come up with the sentence, which it's hard to do that at first because they're not used to being silly and making up crazy things, then I at least make them tell me a story. And it can be as outlandish as they want it to be. The more outlandish, actually, the better because they'll remember it. All right, last step is to practice. You got to practice, I'd say, at least twice a week. And practice means, if you put all of this on a card, so you may have the word nascent on the front, and then you may have the definition and the sentence and your drawing. I'm not going to do the drawing here just because, I'm using a Word document. But your sentence and then your drawing on the back, then, and another way to practice, this is actually a great way to practice. Instead of just looking at it, actually write out the word. So you'd write out the word nascent, and then you actually rewrite the sentence from memory. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Rewrite the sentence from memory out loud. Okay? It's again, very scientifically at least 20% more effective, but actually it is more effective to do this out loud because you're engaging more of your brain, because now you're hearing it at the same time as you're writing it and all of that. So practice, okay? Rewrite it again like a day later, a couple days later, and then it's amazing. You do this a few times, the word is locked into your brain forever. It really does work. So let's try it one more time with one more word. So I'm going to bring all my steps down here. We're going to do it with the word flummoxed. Again, I just made this up. I didn't make up the word, but I just randomly picked words. But I've done this with so many words, it works for every word there is. All right, so let's see. I hate when my computer screen does that. All right. So let's see. First of all, determine the meaning of the word. You get this from your teacher, or you get this from a dictionary. It means when you're flummoxed, you are bewildered, confounded, confused. So if you are flummoxed, so that's the formal. I'm gonna say the formal meaning. Use that word formal. So I'll correct that up here too. Determine the formal meaning of the word. And now let's come up with your own working definition of the word. So flummoxed, I'm gonna say honestly the easiest word is confused. If you're flummoxed, you're confused. So that's the easiest word to me. And a second or third grader would understand confused, right? Um, so now we're on step 3. Let's make up words within the vocab word. So the first word I happen to see is flu, but we're also going to use this flu, okay, because they sound alike. Let's use the word, oh, it's not really a word, but we're going to use the word because you never know. We're going to use the word ox. And you know what? I kind of see the word mox. Hold on a second. So I'm going to use the word moxie. Now that's a little bit of a stretch, but that's okay. You can do science, not a perfect science. Doesn't have to be. So these are the and I'm going to put moxie in the beginning. I guess we could put there too. We're going to put big as the smallest. It doesn't, if you don't do big as the smallest, the world is not going to come crashing down around you. But it can help to do that, at least when you're identifying them, if you look for big as the smallest. All right, so I'm going to look for the noun, the closest thing I can have to an actual subject here, and that would be either flu or ox. Well, ox is more of an actual, quote unquote character here. So I'm going to say the ox was flummoxed because, oxes can get flummoxed. I'm going to say, you could say she was flummoxed when she flew over whatever, but I'm going to say when she, I have an idea. When she flew over a bird and got the flu. Whatever. I don't know why she flew over a bird. I just thought of a bird flying. And so she flew over a bird and got the flu. And I don't have to do this sentence, so I'm just going to do it anyway because I'm in overachiever mode. All she could say was, another way you could say, if you want to make this like meditation and make this about meditation in some way, you can have a lot of fun. You could, yes, I'm a cornball. I know. I do think this is fun though, so I admit that. But hey, if you gotta learn vocab, you may as well, have a little bit of fun and be able to learn about it. But it does work too, though. So yeah, the ox was flummoxed, and so now we're gonna tell a story. So, you know, why was the bird? Why was the ox? Why was she confused? Well, I guess she was flummoxed that she could fly over a bird. We could make it like that. She could fly. Why she was flummoxed that she could fly? How about that? We don't even have to say she flew over a bird. Oh, that's right, because of the flu thing, right? Ooh. But then she got the flu. All she could say was, so the question now is, why could the ox fly? What happened so that she could suddenly fly? There's got to be a story there, right? She was flummoxed. She was confused. Like maybe she was supposed to have a spell that allowed her to talk, and now all of a sudden she can fly, right? But then she got the flu. That sucks too. So, tell a silly story. It could be the ox named Oxy, whatever. And she's got a lot of moxie. Cornball City over here, I know. But still, it works. Next, draw a picture. So, I want to see a confused looking ox or an ox with her brows furrowed and she's flying, right? And then I need to see a picture of her sick, right? So, she's got orange juice, she's got her covers pulled up over her, that kind of thing. All right, and then the last step again is to practice. So when you practice, you're going to write out the word. I'm typing it right now, but you're going to write out the word flummox. You're not going to type it. It makes a difference between writing and typing this out. You've got to write all this out, okay? You're going to write out the word flummoxed, and you're going to talk it out and say, okay, there was an ox and she was flummoxed because of whatever. So you're going to rewrite the sentence to practice, okay? And you do this like the next day, and then you do it if you do it practice like 2 more times in the same week, it's gonna stick with you a lot more than you'd actually think. So, yeah, I hope that this is a helpful exercise for you, and a way for you to really remember vocabulary words in a way that is authentic. And again, my email, if you want to contact me for whatever reason, is Leslie at now I get it doesn't matter if it's capitalized or not, tutoring.com, or Leslie at lqwritingtutor.com. All right. Thank you and have a great day.